Poor Filipino boy crushes Hotel California, golden buzzer. Revolving light sparkles. The stage lights were blinding, but nothing compared to the trembling heartbeat of a young boy standing just a few steps away from the microphone. His hands shook, his knees felt weak, and his throat tightened with fear. All he had was a dream, a song, and a voice that carried the echoes of every hardship he had endured. His name was Miguel, a poor boy from the crowded alleys of Manila, who had never owned a pair of proper shoes, let alone imagined standing on the grandest stage of his life. The crowd was restless, murmuring, waiting for the next contestant. Judges flipped their notes, barely glancing at the boy who walked nervously onto the stage. He looked too small, too fragile, his clothes worn out and faded, a patched shirt hanging loosely on his thin frame. To most, he looked like someone who didn't belong here. But Miguel carried a fire in his chest that no one could see, yet. When the host asked his name, Miguel's voice cracked. "I'm Miguel," he whispered. His accent was heavy, his English broken, and the audience leaned in, curious. One of the judges smiled kindly and asked what he would sing. Miguel swallowed hard before replying, "Hotel California." The words fell like a whisper, but they echoed across the hall. A few in the audience gasped, such a legendary song, and such a young boy daring to sing it. The music began. For the first few seconds, Miguel's voice was shaky, soft, as if searching for courage. But then something magical happened. His tone grew stronger, filling every corner of the hall with a soulful depth that no one expected from a boy his age. His voice carried pain, longing, and beauty, as though every struggle he had lived through poured out in the lyrics. The judges leaned forward, the crowd went silent, hanging on to every note. And then, when Miguel hit the chorus, something inside him broke free. His voice soared, raw, powerful, filled with emotion. The audience erupted in cheers, but Miguel didn't notice. His eyes were closed, his soul lost in the music, singing not just with his voice, but with every scar life had given him. By the final note, the crowd was on its feet, clapping, screaming, some even crying. Miguel opened his eyes, stunned by the sight. The judges exchanged looks of disbelief. One of them slammed their hand on the golden buzzer. The golden confetti rained down, sparkling under the stage lights, covering the boy who once thought he would never be seen. Miguel froze, tears streaming down his face as the crowd roared his name. He had done it, he had crushed Hotel California. But Miguel's story didn't begin here, on this dazzling stage. Miguel grew up in a cramped shanty near Manila Bay. His father left when he was only 5, leaving his mother to raise him and his little sister, Althea. His mother worked long hours washing clothes for neighbors and selling food on the street, but the money was never enough. Some nights, they went to bed hungry. Some days, Miguel skipped school to collect bottles and cans to sell for a few pesos, just so Althea could eat. Music became Miguel's escape. His mother often hummed lullabies when they had nothing to eat, her soft voice trying to cover their empty stomachs with comfort. Miguel would listen to songs on old radios in the neighborhood, learning the melodies by heart. He had no money for lessons, no instruments to practice with, but his voice became his only instrument. He sang while fetching water, while selling fish balls, even while scavenging trash. Neighbors began to notice. "That boy has a gift," they would whisper. Still, Miguel faced ridicule. Kids at school mocked his torn clothes and called him, "poor boy." Some teachers pitied him, others ignored him. He often sat in the back of the class, ashamed of his poverty. But whenever he sang, all shame disappeared. Singing gave him dignity. Singing made him feel alive. One day, his best friend Carlo brought him to a small internet cafe. "Miguel, you have to hear this," he said, pulling up a video of a boy singing on a global stage, receiving the golden buzzer. Miguel's eyes widened as he watched. The crowd cheered, the judges wept, the boy's life changed forever. For the first time, Miguel imagined himself in that spotlight. "But that's impossible," Miguel said. Boys like us don't belong there. Carlo placed a hand on his shoulder. Why not? You have a voice that can move mountains. You just need someone to believe in you. From then on, Carlo became Miguel's biggest supporter. They practiced daily, sneaking into the church when no one was around so Miguel could sing into the echo of its walls. Miguel poured his soul into every note, and Carlo recorded his songs on an old phone. One day, they stumbled upon an online audition for an international talent show. With trembling hands, Carlo uploaded Miguel's video. Weeks passed. Then came the email. Miguel had been invited to audition live. Tears filled his mother's eyes. "Miguel, this is your chance," she whispered. But her heart ached. How would they afford the trip? The bus tickets, the clothes, the food. For days, Miguel considered turning down the opportunity. But neighbors rallied together, donating coins, lending him clothes, and helping his mother scrape together just enough money. Miguel stepped onto that bus with nothing but a small backpack, a borrowed pair of shoes, and the weight of his entire community's hopes. The audition day was overwhelming. Bright lights, cameras, and crowds of contestants, each more glamorous and confident than Miguel. He stood quietly in the corner, intimidated by their expensive clothes and rehearsed smiles. Some laughed when they saw him. "He looks like he got lost," one contestant whispered. Miguel's heart sank, but he remembered Carlo's words. "You just need someone to believe in you." When it was his turn, Miguel walked out, trembling. But when he sang, his world changed. After the golden buzzer moment, Miguel's life transformed. Overnight, his performance went viral. Millions of people watched the poor Filipino boy sing Hotel California with a voice that seemed to pierce hearts. News outlets called him the voice of hope. Strangers from across the world sent letters, gifts, and donations. For the first time, Miguel and his family didn't have to worry about the next meal. But fame brought new challenges. Miguel struggled with self-doubt, wondering if he was good enough to compete with trained singers. He missed home, missed helping his mother and sister. Some people accused him of being just a sob story, claiming his talent was exaggerated. The pressure was immense. One night, overwhelmed, Miguel sat alone backstage, tears falling onto his guitar. A voice broke the silence. "Hey," said one of the judges, walking in. "Do you know why people love you? It's not just your voice, it's your heart. When you sing, you remind people of their own struggles and their own dreams. Don't ever doubt that." Miguel carried those words with him to the finals. He sang again with all his heart, and though he didn't win the entire competition, he won something greater, the love and respect of millions. When he returned to Manila, the whole community gathered to welcome him. Althea ran into his arms, crying, "Kuya, you did it." His mother, holding back tears, whispered, "You've given us more than food or money. You've given us hope." Miguel never forgot his roots. With the support he received, he built a small music school in his neighborhood, giving free lessons to kids who, like him, couldn't afford them. He told every child, "You don't need fancy clothes or money to dream. All you need is courage, a voice, and someone who believes in you." Miguel's story is not just about a boy who sang Hotel California and earned the golden buzzer. It's the story of resilience, of a child who rose from poverty, carrying the weight of his family's struggles, and turned it into music that touched the world. The message of Miguel's journey is clear: greatness can come from the most unexpected places. Sometimes, the boy in torn shoes, the boy mocked for being poor, is the very one whose voice can inspire millions. Answer: Miguel's name became a symbol of hope, a reminder that no dream is too big, no voice too small, and no background too humble to shine under the brightest lights. In the end, Miguel didn't just crush Hotel California. He crushed every doubt, every fear, and every obstacle that tried to silence him. And in doing so, he proved that even the poorest boy can turn his voice into gold.